I'm Darryl Learie, and this is why I turned down a Guinness World Record opportunity of a lifetime. Now, sometimes in one's life one has to think about and deeply respect what's best for them and not what everyone else thinks is best for them. It's always been my dream to get a Guinness World Record, to have that certificate. And since Italy, invited me to their Guinness World Record show, it would almost surely be an instant Guinness certificate, because I'd be establishing that first category for the Guinness World Record for most one-arm push-ups on an egg. It would have been an all-paid trip, all-paid accommodations, plus €1,000 in my pocket to spend as I wish. But I'm just not mentally and physically ready for that yet. I don't know if I should go into all my reasons. But what I do know is that I was the pioneer of such a record. And on recordsetter.com I did 16 one-arm push-ups on an egg with the Alternative Book of Records, the second largest record book, and definitely one of the most notable and well-respected record books. I achieved 8. So I last did it on BT Edmonton on Breakfast TV, the local TV studio. Oh, I had an epiphany. I realized that fame is a disease. There's something called parasocial relationships. It's a type of relationships that people have with celebrities because they see so much celebrities in the media all the time that they feel they know them, and they feel that they have some connection with them, and they feel even that they have a kinship, a friendship with them. And despite that, many of these people, don't actually know these celebrities. They don't know them as people. They don't know them as friends, but they feel they do. A lot of it has to do with relatabilities. If a celebrity decides to adopt a baby, or gets pregnant, or divorces, people, they feel that they know that celebrity enough, and they feel that they're sharing that mutual experience with them, and they can relate to them, and therefore they must be friends, and this type of thing, and which usually catches a lot of celebrities by surprise, being approached by people that don't know who these people are, and they're approached by people who want to party with them and drink with them or smoke up with them, especially if that celebrity's been on like reality TV shows where they smoke and drink, and it's part of the foundation of these parasocial relationships is that, and its place in the media, is that as human beings we all have this inert feeling of wanting to be recognized, wanting to be, because recognition in that sense is a validation of being recognized as part of the peer group, the social group that we are part of. The problem with the media is that if you were looked at a bell curve, you have the most successful at the very end of the right side of the bell curve, and the most criminally stupid on the other side of the bell curve. And you have this entire bell curve. As you split that bell curve into, say, a deviation of 3, 66% of all people on the planet will never get any media exposure. Ultimately, about 95 to 98% will never get any recognition from the media, because they're not at the extreme successful right side of that bell curve, and they're not at the criminally stupid extreme side of the left side of that bell curve. A few lines will appear throughout the entire bell curve. Those are people who happen to be at the right place at the right time, or, example, a fat man trips over a cat or something, and it just comes out funny and ends up on YouTube and goes viral or something like that. It's just it's a freak opportunity. Anyways, this all ties in because my epiphany was the realization that the media in itself, TV news, newspapers, this type of thing, radio, internet news, like Yahoo News, Google News, this type of thing, it will never ever be a true representation or even a balanced representation of reality or life as we know it, because the other 98% of those people will always be in the main bulk of that bell curve. And what the media does is it gives recognition to the criminally stupid and the extreme successful on the right side in what they call interesting stories, and so that sends out a very strong message that ultimately you're not part of the human social peer group. You're not recognized as part of the human race. You're not part of humanity. And this is why so many people want to be famous. They want to know that their accomplishments or even their very existence is acknowledged in some way. And so this is why people become so spellbound and obsessed with the idea of becoming famous, because the media puts out a very clear message that unless you're the extreme right side or the extreme left side, you don't matter. You're not important. You're not newsworthy. Which is a very wrong message. Even looking at the extreme right side, you have to really look at what you define as success. So success is defined by how much web presence you have, or how famous you are. So what I was saying is that most celebrities are so forth. Successful people are the most psychologically messed up people on the planet. It's a sad but true fact. It's, Charlie Sheen, perfect example. I mean, sleeping with prostitutes, you know, going on drug and alcohol binges, and yet he's celebrated. He's practically worshipped like a god, you know. I mean, that's a perfect example of a guy who really cannot keep his shit together. So, it's so I have to ask myself, you know, sure, if I went onto the show, you know, it could be potentially world news or get up there in odd news for sure, you know. The Edmonton media might even suddenly become interested, you know, in my story and what I have to say. But I'm already going to be featured in the upcoming Ripley's hardcover book in August, and they're going to send me a certificate for being featured in that for the same thing. And the irony is they're owned by Guinness. So the accomplishment is there. I have to ask myself, you know, why do I want to be recognized for my accomplishments, and especially on a world stage? And even more so, do I deserve to be? You know? So and this and money doesn't mean anything to me at this point. As long as I meet my basic needs and necessities to live, I'm pretty happy. You know, that's all I really want, is just a simple life. I want to break records on my own terms. And just put it out on YouTube, you know, or a record setter or whatever. Is I don't really feel this need to be famous anymore. I don't want the wheel to spin faster and faster, and you know, all of a sudden I'm on Guinness, and then all of a sudden I get another offer from this place or another offer from this place, or end up on this talk show or that talk show. And who would want it more than me? I mean, just spent most of my life in low-income places, and you know, live on a disability on top of that. So, you know, quite often, more than not, you know, I'm probably one of the most stereotyped people. You know, the world would look at me and, you know, think, okay, well, this guy doesn't work, and on top of that, he lives in low income, and I suppose in a sense I'm probably one of the most hated people in society. You know, I've been bullied big time in high school. My high school years were like World War III to me. It was a fight for survival more than anything. So I mean, sure, there's a part of me that wants to prove everyone wrong and hit the world stage and scream out, look at me, you know. I came from nothing, and having all these people thinking I wouldn't do anything with my life and wouldn't account or become anything with my life, you know, to top of the stage, you know. But I mean, that's just self-serving to me. Really, that's just an expression of my need to feel accepted into that peer group I was talking about. and that ties into everyone's need to be famous, and I mean, of course, there's other host of personalized issues that go with my decision of turning it down. But but this is the real point I want to make with this. It comes down to the fundamental question of what do we really deserve, any of us, So and I certainly don't want to be known for being the criminally stupid at the far left of the spectrum. We live in an insanely sick, media influenced world. The media, it's in itself is not held accountable by anybody. It's the media that decides to be the judge and the jury, and it's the media that picks the stories that they want the world to be interested in, and it's the media that decides what serves their interests. That's why, like, most large newspapers will tell you who to vote for when an election comes, because in some way that serves their better interest. It's a business, yeah. I always said I would never get paid for what I do, and this goes in line with my decision not to go. I mean, what do I deserve €1,000 for? Doing one-arm push-ups on an egg? I mean, that doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't enlighten other people's lives. It doesn't directly help people. I'll always be volunteering and planning future things within the community of Edmonton. To bring out the best in those communities in Edmonton, that my heart feels most for. And a big part of me would rather do something for Edmonton than do something somewhere else and for somebody else, and for a different reason. I mean, this is how I give back to society, a society that's allowed me to survive despite all my social anguish and anxieties and this type of thing. If I have friends that truly respect me, then they'll respect my decisions. And why I make those decisions. This is not me. I'm just not mentally and physically or spiritually ready for something like this anyways. Fame and money, I just don't care for it anymore, because I see the world for what it really is now. And so much of this world is a scam. So like I was saying, I have limitations. And everything I've achieved this far and accomplished is because I only wish to be more than what I am. So I guess in closing, it's true. Poor people like me do turn down offers of fame and money, and I'm really okay with that. Now I won't be reading the newspaper, and most likely I won't be watching news on TV or following the news on the internet, because I don't want to warp my mind. I want to see things for how they really are. And it's a disease. It's a disease of the human world. You know, one day, you know, if mankind becomes extinct and another alien race comes and finds all our footage, which will be mostly media, news footage, what they're not going to know is how people lived, or what people valued. What they're going to know is what people were obsessed with. The whole history of the world will be represented by people's obsessions in the news. It will be a sad day because it will reflect very poorly on the human race. And I don't know, it's just it's disappointing. You know, I don't want to subside to this weakness of wanting to be accepted and be part of the multitude that want to be famous. I want a simple life, yeah, where I just train and break records, whether people know about it or not, because it's a weakness, you know. It's like kids in high school and how they put so much energy and time into wanting to be cool. And I reflect back to my high school years and I think, what a waste of time and energy. You know, all this trying to find yourself and identify yourself with other people and wanting to be accepted and, you know, wanting to be popular so people recognize and acknowledge you, and that's a weakness. You know? It doesn't matter. Millions of people have been wrong before. I mean, oh my God, with my, you know, high school, what a waste of time that was. Oh my God. Is this artificial bubble world of wanting to be recognized and acknowledged, and have people look up to you. It's narcissistic, it's vain, it's weak, it's pitiful. Yes. You know, I don't know what to say above that. Since my epiphany, I've realized the media is just too stupid to realize what really is news. you know, and even more stupid to be able to construct a true coherent reality that we live in. And to quote CEO of CBS, which I remember reading about, we will not give people the news they want. We will give them what we tell them is news. And to quote another CEO of another major media company, I can't remember his name now, we will pick the stories that people are interested in. And that's how we'll handle our politics and business. So, it's a scam, man. Don't fall for it. Celebrity hype and being famous, it's bullshit. It really is. It's fake. It's an illusion. You know, we have this world so twisted in and out and upside down. It's a wonder that people go crazy trying to be famous. You do something exceptionally well and media doesn't care, but you do something stupid, they write about you. It's all about external happiness, which really isn't true happiness. It's the inner reward I'm most interested in. Anyways, I guess that's it. I'm out.